Chapter 10. Ellie. I was shocked last Friday night when Luke asked me to go out with him. I mean, he knows that Caleb and I are dating. I have felt so depressed when he came to pick me up for us to cover the homecoming game for yearbook. During the drive, I had told him to take me home because I was so worn out and upset about Caleb, plus everything else. I've never felt so much stress in my entire life. What with Caleb and all these hard classes, I've got a B average in 2 classes and a C in chemistry. I've never made grades that low. Luke talked to me into staying through halftime, and I was glad we did. I didn't want to disappoint Miss Hawk and not take some good photos for Luke's yearbook spread. On the way home, Luke and I talked and talked. It felt so good to actually enjoy being around a guy for a change. I was flattered when he asked me out, and I hoped his feelings weren't hurt. But Caleb would absolutely go off on Luke and me if he found out that Luke had even asked me out. When I got home, I called Paige and told her that Luke had asked me out. The first thing she said was, "I hope you said yes." "I can't go out with Luke. Caleb and I are together," I said. Paige laughed out loud at that, then asked me what planet was I living on. That Mary had been talking for weeks about how pretty Caleb's girlfriend from Jefferson High School was, and that she had been seeing them together at his parents' lake house over the summer. I told her that Mary was wrong about all that, but in my heart, I knew that what Paige said was almost certainly true. "I can understand why you wouldn't want to go out with Luke," Paige continued. "No girl in her right mind would want to go out with a sweet, kind guy who has had a crush on her for forever. Why would she choose a guy like that over a guy who treats her like dirt, cheats on her, and is constantly criticizing her looks and weight and everything about her? Your decision makes perfect sense to me, Ellie." I told her that I didn't appreciate her sarcasm. I almost hung up on her, but didn't. I needed to talk to either her or Mia about all this stuff, and I sure can't call Mia and ask her whether I should break up with Caleb and go out with Luke. "My parents think Caleb is awesome," I said next. "Well, maybe your parents would like to be Caleb's BFFs," said Paige. "That's not funny," I said. "Look, suppose you went out with Luke, and suppose you two really got into each other. What if you two fell in love one day? What would be so bad about that? A lot of girls think guys like Luke aren't exciting, aren't worth their time, and they fall for these perfect jerks who break their hearts over and over. Yeah, keep on going out with Caleb and see what that brings you." I turned Luke down, was all I could think to say. Then I actually hung up on her. I just tried to put the whole thing out of my mind, but I tossed and turned all night and hardly got any sleep. What if Paige were right about Caleb cheating on me? Who am I fooling? She is right. But I just can't fall for Luke. He's just not... I don't know. Dad doesn't like him. I spent all of Saturday morning trying to get caught up on schoolwork, but I only got my reading done for English and history, and didn't even start on the Algebra 2 and advanced chemistry stuff. Saturday afternoon, Mom and I spent a lot of time fussing over my makeup and hair. It was really nice to have some time with her, except when she kept going on and on about how good-looking Caleb is, how we're a great match, and how Caleb's mom is always raving about how glad she is about us being a couple. On Saturday night, Caleb picked me up, and then he said he had to go pick up Mary and Matthew because all of us were going together. I didn't even know that Mary and Matthew are a thing. I could care less except that Matthew is my ex, and Caleb should have asked me how I felt about doubling with them. That really hurt my feelings. On the way to the dance, all Caleb talked about was how unfair Coach Dell had been to him about the game Friday night, and how he was thinking about quitting the team, that he could walk on at some big-time college and show Dell how wrong he was about benching him. What does walk on even mean? Who cares? I don't even want to know. The homecoming setting was really nice. It was in the gym, and the theme was under the sea, with palm trees, fishing nets, life preservers, and painted fish. There was also this miniature drive-in movie set up with cardboard cars where couples could sit and watch real movies like Hairspray, Grease, and High School Musical. Caleb basically ignored me once we got there, mostly talking to the other football players and flirting with every girl who walked past him. We hadn't even been there for 20 minutes when he said he and Matthew had to go out to the car and get something. They were gone for like 45 minutes, and I was scared to leave where he left me because he gets so mad so easily over just about anything. Then Mr. Caldwell came up to me and said, Caleb will not be returning to the dance due to breaking school policy. Do you need to call your parents for a ride home? A few minutes later, Mary came over and said that Matthew had just texted her and said that Caldwell had caught him and Caleb trying to bring alcohol into the building. They had gotten kicked out of the dance and suspended for a week. Mary said she was going to hang around at the dance. I bet she tried to find the cutest guy there without a date. I called Mom and told her what happened and to come pick me up. She needs to know what the real Caleb is like.